Hello everyone, this is another problem from chapter 4. It is about loops, but this time about while loops. So write a program with a loop that asks the user to enter series of positive numbers. The user should enter a negative number to signal the end of the series. After all the positive numbers have been entered, the program should display their sum. Well, awesome. We can see a sentinel here, which is a symbol we use to stop the loop. And it's sort of not one symbol, it's just any negative number. So whenever we enter the negative number, we will break the loop. Alright, so let's do that. I will need a variable total, which will be storing the whole sum, the whole total sum that we are accumulating. Total is an accumulator variable, and in one of my earlier videos, I did talk about the accumulator variable. Alright, so total is 0, and I will need to be asking a user for numbers. I'm going to prime this variable as 1, anything above 0 will do, and I'm not planning to use this 1, because right after I will begin my while loop, I will ask the user again for a number, and the user will actually choose a number. Okay, so while num is greater or equal to 0, I guess zeros are allowed, so we should enter a negative number to signal the end of the series. First, I'm going to ask the user for the actual input, and don't ever forget to convert it when you need to, when you are actually going to do mathematical operations. Float input enter the number you want to add to the total. Maybe it's a little too verbose, but it conveys the idea. And finally, total plus equals num. That is actually adding the number to total. And I should say enter a positive number, actually. A positive. Negative to quit. And actually, there is a small issue here, but you will be able to say what it is once I run the program. Or maybe you can do that right away. So print num, and let's run it. And if you like to stop and figure it out before I run the program, that's great. So what will go wrong here? The program will work, so we will get some sort of answers. Positive number you want to add to the total, 2, 3, and suddenly I want to add, to finish, -1, and the problem is that my total is -1. Oops. Okay. That's not the problem that I had in mind. Yeah, I should print total. Alright, that's the first thing, but that's not the issue that I was going to show you. So again, 2, 3, -1. So the total is 4 instead of 5. That is because on the last iteration, I added -1, which is basically subtracting 1. And you might want to think how to actually do that. How to actually fix that the number that I enter here, a negative number, which is intended to break the loop, should not be added over here. One way to do it is with an if statement. If num greater than 0, then there is a point in actually doing this. And that would fix the problem. However, it may be not the fastest way to do it. So 2, 3, -1, 5, as expected. Why? because every time I'm checking whether the number is positive before adding it to the total. On the other hand, it is also excessive, and if checks are not exactly the fastest thing to perform, so let's not do that. What should we do instead? Oops, I deleted the total. Plus equals num. Okay. What we can do, we can actually cheat and prime this variable by asking the user what the user actually wants. And once I did that, I can switch these two lines over. And that will be asking the user for input in the end of the loop and also asking before the loop. So this may look to you a little bit more natural if you think about it. And it will also solve the problem that the last number was negative, and that's not what we want to add to our total. All right. So 3 minus 1, 5. So it works correctly. All right. So that was it. And for this very problem, that was it. And I'm going to save it as sum of even only numbers. That's an additional condition. Ask the user display only display the sum of only even numbers. So not all numbers, but just even numbers. So whenever my number is not even, it should not be added over here. And we can quickly do that with one if condition. If remainder when dividing number by 2 is equal to 0, that is the meaning of a number is divisible by 0, then add to the total. And just to give the user some idea of what's going on, else it's always nice to give the user an idea of what's going on, print this number will not be added. Alright, so now let's play with this modified problem. Enter a positive, add to the total, so 2, 3, this number will not be added, 2, 5, and now minus 1. So 2 and 2 were added, 3 and 5 were ignored. So that seems to work as well. And here is a little bit of a more interesting version of some numbers for you.